Shawn Murray is the founder of Hello Games. He's been getting a lot of press recently for being the creator and project leader on No Man's Sky. This indie project is super unique because of its scale, over 18 quintillion planets, and this game was only made by around 10 people. The procedural generation in No Man's Sky is going to pave the way for a whole new genre of games, and it was the brainchild of this man. But a lot of people don't know that Shawn Murray used to work at EA, specifically Takedown, where he worked on another groundbreaking game, one of my favorites, and something that history kind of lost, Burnout 3 Takedown. For those who are unfamiliar, Burnout 3 is an arcade racing game. That means it's a racing game, but it's not really that serious. Now, I'm not into most racing games, but this one had enough action blended in to keep me interested. The goal is to literally take down the other racers by ramming them with your car. The game rewards you for being reckless, driving on the wrong side of the road, just barely missing other cars, catching air, drifting, slamming into other players, all adds to your boost meter. And of course, you use that to go faster, like NOS. This all keeps the game exciting. Your adrenaline will be pumping the whole race because at any moment, you could just nick something and crash your car and end up all the way in the back of the race. But the game does a really good job of making sure that you're not too far away from the action at any given moment. See, at the time Burnout 3 was released, you already had games like Need for Speed, Midnight Club, and Gran Turismo, all trying to make real-feeling racing simulators. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you had Mario Kart. Totally not realistic. Burnout 3 wanted to err on the side of Mario Kart in that the objective is to sabotage the other players. Personally, when I played these racing sims, I always tried to ram into the other players. I don't know why. It just felt natural. Of course, it never worked out well because these games want you to actually race, and that's not how you actually race. You'd end up just spinning out of control. Burnout 2 was also an arcade-style racer, but its main draw was its crash mode, flinging your car into an intersection and trying to make as big of a pileup as you can. Its racing mode focused on reckless driving, but didn't have a way to encourage players to destroy each other. The focus was on actually trying to get ahead of other players, and what fun is that in a racing game? Burnout 3 set out to fix this. How can we integrate the crash mode into the racing? Now, Shawn Murray was just a programmer at Criterion, but he also helped make some key design decisions too. Right now it sounds simple. Make a game where you crash into other cars that you're also trying to race against. It's such a simple, dumb, testosterone-y idea, but it's so much fun. In an interview with IGN's Ryan McCaffrey, Shawn Murray talks about the logistics of turning such a simple idea into a reality. I highly recommend checking out this video. To paraphrase, in normal racing games, cars just whiz around the track trying to go faster than all of the other cars. If you're playing Gran Turismo really well, you'll be way ahead of all of the other cars. Burnout has to keep you somewhat close to the other players to keep the game interesting. Also, if you make another car crash going 150 miles per hour, how would you know? You're not going to see it. You're going to whiz right by the accident. Burnout 3 has the camera slam into slow motion, pull out away from you, and focus on the car that's crashing. While this is happening, your car is being driven by an AI so that it doesn't just crash into a wall or something. This is the core mechanic of the game, and it's something that Shawn Murray helped figure out in one weekend right before official PlayStation Magazine came in for a demo. That story of Burnout 3's development is over on that IGN Unfiltered episode. I will link to it with a timestamp so you can watch that. Crashing cars wasn't something that happened in racing games back in the day. Simulation racing games weren't allowed to have damaged cars because the cars were licensed. Ford wouldn't be too happy seeing a brand new Mustang all beat up, so when you crash into a wall, the car kind of just bounces off of it. Crashing just wasn't something that you could do, and this is what set Burnout aside from all of the other racing games. I broke out the old PS2 to make this video, and I have to admit I did not expect this game to hold up, but oh man, does it hold up. Look at these garbage-ass textures, though. This game is a great example of how screen resolution and graphics don't f***ing matter. Get your 60 frames per second PCs the f*** out of my face. Burnout controls really well. It's right in line with the games of today. The only thing that was a little weird initially going back to it was that the gas was X instead of what we're used to now, right trigger. It reminds you that this isn't your typical racing game. This isn't about trying to feel the handling of all the different cars or some shit. This is about having a boatload of wacky, ridiculous fun. And let's not forget about the soundtrack, which was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater levels of good. One of my favorite bands ever, The Matches, has a track on here, and they're obscure as hell. For copyright reasons, you're just gonna have to Google that. I can't help you. After the development of Burnout 3, Shawn Murray left his new technical lead position at Criterion to start Hello Games with some of his coworkers. Their first game was Joe Danger, which was fairly well received, but not that well known. They started Hello Games with the hopes that they would one day eventually make a massive game like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is out right now, but it wasn't out when I filmed this video. So I had to talk about Burnout 3, so I don't know, fight me. What do you guys think about Burnout 3? Have you played it? What do you think about Shawn Murray? What do you think about No Man's Sky? Is it as groundbreaking as everybody was hoping it would be? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter. All of this other social media garbage. I, for one, am really happy that I was able to bust out the PS2 and play this game again. Looking at the save file, I haven't played it since 2005. Jesus Christ. I'd also like to point out the shirt that I'm wearing. Look at it. Teabagging since 2014 because this Destiny shirt's got a little ghost on it. There's a little tea with teabag. I designed this shirt for the Geek Chick, and right now there's a campaign going on. There's a link to that through our TeePublic store in the description below. Anyway, new videos every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday nights, Wulff Den Live. Be there for our live podcast. And if you missed that, the archive goes up on Thursday. And of course, the most important things that you could do is subscribe and share this video with a friend that is really into No Man's Sky but doesn't know about its creator's history. Just tell the whole world about Burnout 3 and how fucking amazing that game is. Thank you guys very much. Have a good week and enjoy your No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has a lot of people confused. What is it? What do you do in the game? Seeing the vague marketing for the game, potential buyers will form their own opinions of what they think the game will be like. And if they're wrong, they'll be disappointed, thus thinking that the game sucks. It's important for people to know exactly what the game's going to be like. It's a space exploration game, so the game's about exploring the vast, mind-blowingly huge world. Universe. Game's too big to be saying world. In the same vein, but on the Nintendo side, there's the Superboy. This one plays SNES cartridges in a portable form factor with the option of outputting to a TV using AV cables. It even has two full-size controller inputs right on the front. While this device is probably the coolest one, it's not at all licensed by Nintendo, has no pre-installed software, and cannot run ROMs.